All right, everybody. This is White with Triad Dirtworks, and we're doing our first live stream. I want to hang tight. We got it set for 8 o'clock a.m., so we're going to wait just a few minutes, let some more people get in here before we get going. Guys, if you can hear, just doing a sound check. Like I said, this is my first live stream, so I want to make sure everything is working properly. Can you guys hear me? If you can, chat down in below. Let's see if we can hear. Gotcha, Johan. Thanks for coming in this morning. Got a little sound this morning, a little bird distraction. Spring is here, summer's on its way. It's actually a pretty cool morning right here. Should have a jacket on. It's about 63 degrees. Had a bunch of thunderstorms last night. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's get going. It's going good this morning, Johan. It's going really good. First live stream here. Very excited about it. Want to see how things go. Get some questions going in the chat. It's a beautiful day to do this. A little overcast. Sun ain't shining, so we're ready to go. All right, let's see here. So I want to pull up first. I've got some questions that were pre-sent in by a subscriber of ours, Jolie Torn. Let's start by reading some of her questions and see where that goes. Oh, Jolie, good morning. How you doing? You made it this morning. Okay, I want to start off now that Jolie's in here. She's awake. That's great. Wasn't expecting you this morning, but I do have your email that you sent me, and we're going to get started. We're going to kick off with some of your pre-discussed questions that you sent through email. I really do appreciate that, by the way. So let's start off. Jolie, she had a question about our Ditch Witch SK800, our new machine that we got. One, I want to start off by saying I cannot speak highly about that machine. It is a great machine. I'm so glad we got it. And kind of go into a little backstory about this machine. Me and Dan, we were discussing it for probably 6 to 8 months, whether we were going to get it or not. And when we make decision, folks, it's kind of, we take a lot of thought, put a lot of thought in our decisions. So we think about things quite a lot and weigh out the options, whether it's going to be beneficial to us or not. And I'm so glad that we got that machine. It really does take the place of 4 people. And it does a really good job. So let's dive into her question. She says, every time I think of the machine, I think of someone getting bucked off of the machine. Do you see a plausible idea for a toe hold to be welded on for extra stability? And that's a great question. And that does happen. You can probably see in some videos of ours when you're riding on that machine and you're on the back of that machine. So it's kind of like you're riding a horse. And you're exactly right. When those tracks go over a divot or a hole, lowers the front end up and then return raises the back end up. So you might hit a little 4-inch dip in the front of the machine, but when you get to going, that'll be a foot difference in the back, and it'll kind of startle you. And that's why they have the hand grips. They have a really good design with the hand grips, and you really want to be holding on to them at all times. That is no doubt, no question about that. And the toe hold is a great idea. Sometimes I do wish that they had a little design at the bottom, like just maybe a little piece of square tubing across the bottom that you could in turn hold your feet down and stay stable on it. But with that said, the only drawback to that is I would hate if something in an emergency situation to have your feet in there and somehow, some way you can't get them out. And then you're pretty much stuck to that machine, and that wouldn't be a good way to go down. So that's the first question here, and great question. And so is it plausible? Some situations, yes. I don't know, from an operator standpoint, I just kind of, if it comes down to it, I'll just have to get bucked off. I don't like really tying myself to any kind of piece of equipment like that. And any time in an emergency situation, it could turn out bad. So that's the first question. We got any more in the chat? She's got a couple more, but let's get another question in here, kind of mix it up a little bit. Got the morning coffee. Yeah, we need to do a close-up, Jolie, on the machine and kind of give like a walkthrough. And I've been real hesitant about that. I don't like to do a video on a piece of equipment until we feel like we've ran it enough and until we work all the kinks out. So right now on that particular machine, we've got about 150 hours on that machine. So we do need to put a video out soon, retaining that machine and going over like the ins and outs and the basics. And it's a pretty cool machine, but I don't like to speak on, and Dad don't like to speak on anything that we're just not experienced in. We don't want to speak on something that we don't have any knowledge in, or feel like we're not able to speak to the fullest. But we definitely need to get a close-up video machine work on the Ditch Witch SK800. All right, watch the chat here just for a second. We'll dive into the next question here. She also sent a question. Any upcoming videos on the sawmill? And I do want to mention something about the sawmill. Yes, we do have a Wood-Mizer LT15 sawmill, portable sawmill. We do not have the trailer attachment underneath it though, and that might change here soon. But we do have it stationary on a platform, and we haven't showed any videos on that, mainly because we haven't had a lot of time. We've been pretty busy with the dirt work side of things, and the mill, we're definitely not professionals at that either. But we have definitely cut our fair share of lumber off of it and used it for our personal use, and we haven't really dove into the whole fullest of the sawmill. And she asked if we were going to have any upcoming videos on the sawmill, and that is yes. We're definitely going to have some videos coming up on the sawmill, and hopefully how to run it, and maybe the struggles that we have with it and stuff that we see that can be done different by us and all that good stuff. And the way of lumber prices going up, folks. I don't know everywhere where you guys are at, but I'm pretty sure it's nationwide, probably worldwide. The lumber prices are out of sight. And we got our Wood-Mizer back in February. We ordered it back in November, so that's how long they were behind on getting the actual sawmill produced and shipped out to our location. So it was total of 4 months, I believe, that we waited on that thing, and it came at the absolute right time because lumber prices are out the roof, and to build anything, it is unreal. It is unreal what you could build. I believe there was a little picture I saw online about a 300 square foot deck that you could build with that lumber. I think a year ago, the square footage cost was like $900 with the lumber and stuff. You can build a 300 and some square foot deck for $900. Well, that price went to $3,500. Just the labor and the wood and stuff, all that stuff is going up. So the sawmill couldn't have came at a better time. We don't really saw for anybody right now. Like I said, we're still new, and we want to work all the kinks out and stuff, but we do saw for ourselves, and we're in the process of making a couple different cool designs and stuff that will be showcased in some future videos. So that's very interesting. That's going to be coming up. So yes, Jolie, your question is answered, and there will be some videos on the sawmill. All right, Johan, what's the plans for the sawmill? Are you guys planning on sawing logs for paying customers, or it's something that you will be using for Triad dirt work solely? And this is Andy, by the way. Andy, good to have you this morning, Andy. All right, let's dive into that. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. For right now, the short term, we're going to be sawing for ourselves, but we do plan on sawing for the general public as well. But with that said, there's a lot of ins and outs about sawing lumber for people, and especially in the custom woodworking and stuff. We can do that right now. The only problem is getting a surplus and a stockpile of wood that is ready to be sold, because with sawing, and like I said, folks, I'm not by any means an experienced sawmill operator at all. We're a hobbyist at best when it comes to that stuff, but we do have all the equipment to make it go easy, and the flip and turn the logs and stuff. But what's my train of thought here? Okay, back to the general public. So when you saw a log, the best time to saw the log, I do believe, is to saw it as soon as it gets cut down, and that means that it's wet. So when you cut a log, it's probably got a moisture reading of anywhere I've seen from 25 to 30% moisture level. That's not too good. You don't want to build with that stuff because it's going to expand and crack and give and take, and you want to make sure it's dried. So that's why they have dry kiln lumber, and they have pressure treated lumber. That's for outside use and stuff. And so to answer your question, Andy, we're not set up and equipped right now to serve the general public with our sawmill, because it takes such a long time to dry your lumber, be it air dry. And we do not have a dry kiln set up, nor do we have a plan for a dry kiln in the future. So that's kind of where we're at. So in order to sell to the public, we would sell right now with the condition of, hey, it's going to be wet wood, and you're going to have to take your own liberties about drying this stuff yourself, and that's about it. Otherwise, it's probably going to take 3 years for us to saw some wood, have some place out in our yard for it to be stacked and dried and properly stored and all that good stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. So great question. Do we have any more in the chat? I do have a couple more emailed, but let's see if we can get some more questions in the chat. How are you folks doing this morning? What's the weather like up there, Jolie? All right, got another question. Why is it so important to call on locates before digging? I actually just went over this in a past video, a pretty recent video, actually this week. Folks, locates are extremely, extremely important, extremely, and it's actually by law, especially in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure it's got, ours is called NC 811, and you don't want to confuse it with 911. And they'll tell you that on the teleprompt call or whatever. If this is emergency, hang up and call 911. So it's 811. You can call that number. It's a free number to call, and it's recommended and by law for every homeowner, contractor, anybody that wants to put a shovel in the ground. You need to call 811 or go on the website and put in a 811 ticket. And what that does, it's a free service that is paid by the utility entity locator companies. And basically what that means is when a utility company has their line in the ground, by law, they're required to maintain and uphold and locate that line for any future time any work is going to be done in and around that utility area. So basically, you go online and you call in a ticket, and you put the address down. If it's your home, they'll ask, is it going to be front of the property, rear of the property, side of the property? There's a whole prompt of things that you can enter to make sure that the locate company can come in and locate the lines appropriately. And they've got records and stuff and as-builts of just about every property in their system where they can locate. And then they hook up the lines and they locate telecommunications, they locate power, they locate gas. Sometimes they locate water, the main water lines at the road. But essentially, the locates are important because they're underground. We can't see them. We cannot see them. So they're underground. They're buried. And with that said, when you're digging and you just have no idea, so when they come out and locate, they physically put flags. They physically put paint on the ground, and that gives an indication of where that line is at. So, so that's where we're at with the locates. And the telecommunication lines, especially in residential, is what we work a lot in. And the lines are important, don't get me wrong, but usually they're not fiber optic lines. Usually they're cable lines in our area. But what we mainly want whatsoever. But the gas lines and the power lines, and I went over this in the last video, they're dangerous. They can kill you. They can blow up a piece of equipment. They can blow up a house. So you never want to take that stuff lightly. So always, always, always call in your 811 tickets, or whatever state you're in or whatever part in the world. I think it's pretty much a industry standard that you have to call it in before you do any kind of excavation work. And I don't care if it's digging with a shovel or if it's digging with a 20,000-pound excavator. Folks, call in your locate tickets, or make that phone call to the 811 services. So I hope that answered your question, Mackenzie. That's a great question. Let's see, Andy, don't know the laws myself. Can you guys lower shallow lines to do your work if necessary? Yes, we can. I say that. I don't know the laws myself, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and we find ourselves doing that all the time. Like I was mentioning, with those locate lines, folks, and those telecommunication lines, especially in a residential situation, them lines can be anywhere from 2 to 12 inches deep. So when we're going and we're grading out a yard and we're digging lines and stuff, that's 2 inches is not anything. I mean, you barely scratch the surface. We have scratched the surface before with our teeth like this and rip up a communication line at a residential home. And it's not good. And we usually try to, that's why the locates are important. That's always in the back of our minds, especially in residential areas. The communication lines are so shallow. So a lot of times when we arrive to a site and we know, we always go out and we lay out our job and we say, okay, we're going to come through here. We're going to go through there. We're going to turn right here. And then we get out there and we open our eyes and we look at the yard and we look at our utility lines that are marked. Could be a communication lines, and that's displayed in orange paint or orange flags. Just a fun fact. I'll go over that right quick. You've got orange, which is communications, telecommunications. That could be cable TV, that could be internet, that could be fiber optic cables. That is orange. That is communication lines for internet, phone, all that good stuff. You've got yellow. That is your gas lines. That's natural gas. You've got power. That's your red. That is always going to be red. You've got water lines, which is marked in blue, which fits very well. Blue water, great. And then you've got green, which is usually sewer lines. And you don't see a lot of sewer lines because they don't mark sewer lines at the residential, at the house, but they do mark them on commercial properties and the right-of-ways along the road and stuff. So yes, to answer your question, I do not know the laws myself, and we might be discriminating or incriminating ourselves right now, but we do lower residential lines all the time to be able to do our work, because when we're grading a yard and you got to shave off 4 inches of soil and your communication line is 2 inches, then that's going to be a problem. You're going to have to work around that line. So what we do, we always expose it by hand. We go underneath it, dig it up, and it comes up really easy because it's so shallow. And then we take the machine and either dig a trench or take the skid steer and kind of V out another trench along the lines, and then we lay it back in and then we bury it. And I don't think it would be an issue if somebody came out from the entity that owned that line, on that communication line. I think they would actually thank us and appreciate us for taking the time, because most contractors, and I'm not throwing off on a lot of contractors, but a lot of times people don't take the amount of protocol and care and steps about saving a line and not hitting it, even though it might be, just a little cable line. But now in these days and time, folk, a lot of people are working at homes. They're working at home, and that is their line in to communicate with the external world. And especially now, more time than any time, people working at homes, you don't want to hit lines. You don't want to hit anything that could inconvenience somebody else's day, be it they're working or they're just at home. It's Friday afternoon and they're coming in from work and they're winding down and they don't have no television. So we try our best not to hit any kind of lines whatsoever. A, they're dangerous. B, that costs you money, and it's a time inconvenience. Like Dad mentioned, you hit a water line, we can fix water lines. We put in water lines. But a water line, one simple water line, can ruin your whole entire day, because water lines are made out of different material. We do carry around assortment of fittings and stuff to be able to take care of stuff like that. But What if you run into a metal water line, or you run into a different size water line? So you're running to the supply house, you're running the Lowe's, you're running back and forth. So a simple job that might have took you a day, you got halfway done, you hit a water line, and now you're SOL. You got to fix that water line, and that means that you're running all over Kingdom Come to go pick up supplies to fix that water line. So a day job that would have taken you with no flaws, no hiccups, now took you 2 days, because you had to take that time and fix the line that you hit, and then you have to go back and actually do what you were planning on doing. So it can be a really big inconvenience factor. So yes, shallow lines, we do like to take care of them if necessary. So that's a great question, Andy. Appreciate you asking that one. Got any more questions, guys? You can keep them coming. You keep them coming down the chat. Looks like we got about 10 people in here now, which is great. Keep them coming in the chat, and I'll just kind of work down through them as I see them. But so far, so good, guys. Great questions. It's a beautiful morning to be doing this. Overcast skies, pretty. So how's the weather, everybody? How's the weather everywhere else, guys? Pretty cool, or I think you was it right? Missouri? Is that where you're from, Julie? Missouri? Had to turn the heat on. I hear that. That is for sure. I woke up this morning, especially from this past week here in North Carolina. It was up in the 90s, up in the mid 90s, and it was hot. North Carolina, pretty high humidity area. Wind blows a little bit, but it was really hot. But this morning, about had to turn the heat on herself. It was so cold we could hang meat in our house. I think I had to turn it up. We was on 65, so definitely a little cool this morning for us. Outside was about 6 degrees, so we about froze. So I do understand, had to turn on that heat. And coming up this week, it's going to be another hot week, I believe, for us. But it's great. Got to take the good with the bad. Like Dad always says, there's about 2 days out of the whole entire year, which is perfect working degree weather, perfect conditions. And that is 1 day in the fall, and that is 1 day in the spring, and usually around 70, 72 degrees, slight wind blowing, nice and cool, short sleeve weather, long pants, boots, perfect weather to be working in. And all the other days of the week just don't matter. Just don't matter at all, because it's either raining, it's too hot, the humidity's too high. So that's why the weather's there, folks, so we can complain about it, because it's never how we want it to be. It's either too hot, too cold. So it's kind of funny. Weather's just one of those things that we can't control. We just got to pick up and move on with it. All right, I'm going to move into another question off email here. So this came from Jolie as well. In our guest equipment video, which was revealing the sawmill, and she saw the El Camino. It was an El Camino Super Sport, and she asked if it was a 86 and if it was ours. And she said that she is a 71 Barracuda kind of girl, but that will never come to reality. Maybe it will come to reality. You never know. Never know. One might just pop in your lap one day. You never know. So it is a El Camino Super Sport, and it's not an 86. I believe it's an 83. Talked to Dad yesterday about that. It's 83, and he did want me to mention that is a choo-choo. And I'm not a big car guy, so I'm not familiar with all the the classic cars and stuff like that. But evidently, it's a choo-choo, and from what I can tell and what he told me, there was only a select few of those particular models made. So yes, it's kind of a classic. It's kind of a gem, and it's got low miles on it. I believe it's got under 100,000 original miles on it. And he drives it quite often. Actually, we used it Friday on a job, not on a job, but I was pulling equipment. My brother Weston was pulling equipment too. And Dad, he just kind of floats in and out. And we call it the support vehicle, just in case we get somewhere and we have to go somewhere and we can pull without a trailer. If we have to run the Lowe's, run to a supply house and get stuff. So he was actually driving the El Camino. But yes, it is ours, or it is Dad's rather. But it's an 83. It's El Camino Super Sport. And it's a choo-choo. All right, Andy. Can Triad Dirtworks install a second water meter for irrigation? I think we can. I would have to dig into I'd have to dig into the code and stuff for that, because irrigation systems, if I'm not mistaken, they they require backflow systems, and I do believe that they have to be inspected through the county. But yes, I don't see why we couldn't install water meters and stuff for irrigation systems. And it might be a licensing issue, because we're not licensed to put in irrigation in the state of North Carolina. Um, but there's a couple different workarounds that you can do with that. And you can have a company come out, and we could work under their license, so to speak, and contract through them. So I think that's how that works. So that's kind of a loaded question a little bit, mainly just because I don't know the state regulations and the county regulations about putting in an irrigation system. I do know you have to be licensed for it. But then again, at a home, I know a lot of those things, if you do it yourself kind of thing, you can you can uh, you can work around a lot of those things. But a second water meter, I know we can install it. That's not the question. We've installed water lines and stuff like that all the time. But as far as, being at Legal Steven and all that good stuff, I don't know if we have the credentials to install a irrigation meter. So I hope that answers your question. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, that's about all I have on the questions that was emailed to me. So if you want to keep those questions coming in the chat. How's everybody else doing this morning? Nice wildlife in the background. Birds are out. Let's see if Dad, are you on the live stream? Blink twice if you're on. Yeah, hopefully. See, me and Dad, we live about an hour away. So I live about an hour south of him, and with that said, it's hard for us, especially on the weekends. We're doing so many different things, and we got so much different things going on. I would love for him to be here, but just the logistics of it, and for this being the first live stream, kind of wanted to make it work all the kinks out. But eventually, if the live streams work out great and you guys like them, then we'll be definitely doing more of them in the future, and hopefully we can get Dad and the whole team involved on these things, because it is a pretty cool capacity, a cool platform of doing it, and we're doing something different. All right, let's see here, Jolie. You've got something. I want to say I like your channel because it has a little bit of everything to watch. I wish you did more before and after the end of your videos. It would make your work that much more impressive. That is definitely something that we're working on, Jolie. We're not, to be honest, we're just, I don't know how to put this. We're just good old country boys with a little bit of piece of equipment, a little bit of know-how. More Dad, more so, and I know a little bit about the technical stuff. And that's the cool part about this YouTube channel. You can see our first video to our last video, and it's been a great improvement, but we still have a long ways to go when it comes to the video editing software. I do all the video editing myself, and it's definitely a different set of obstacles for editing videos. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm definitely trying to get more creative with our video skills, our video editing skills. But I just want to say, bear with us, because we're at the end of the day, we're just a couple of good old country boys with some equipment that likes to film and work. So bear with us. We're definitely not filming professionals, but I am taking all the advice and tips that we can get about filming. So that is definitely coming up. We do want to take more. Creative shots with our film work and stuff. Okay, Dad's in here. Dad's in here. So you got any questions directed towards Dad? Yeah, ask him, and we'll go from there. He can definitely see some things in the chat, although I think he might be typing on his phone, so it might take him a little bit to respond. Let's going down the line here. POV cameras in the future, point of view. Yes, they're definitely in the future. I actually do have a kit that just came in 2 weeks ago. It is a GoPro accessory camera kit, and it comes with about 50 different attachments or 50 different setups and stuff. They actually have a chest harness that goes on here. I do believe they have a head harness too, a couple wrist attachments. So definitely the POV cameras, they're in the works. Just have to make sure everything's compatible, because I unfortunately did not get the GoPro brand because it was outrageous. So we got a little knockoff kit, and Ben's, with that said, the knockout or the knockoff kit, it was quite a bit cheaper, but making our GoPro setup work with it might be a little funny. So I might have to get a couple different more universal items to go with those POV setups. But yeah, to answer your question, that is definitely coming in the future. I do want to get some more angles. I feel like that's the downfall of our YouTube videos right now. A lot of them are the same. Same camera angles, a lot of the same. We try to get creative with it. So definitely, I appreciate you bringing that up, and that is definitely coming in the future. Good morning, Elizabeth. How are you doing? How are you doing this morning? Hope everything is all well in your world. And Michael Hill, or no, skipping ahead of myself. What is the idea perfect work day look like for Triad Dirtworks? I'll tell you, folks, the ideal work day is one, the weather has a lot to do with it. We like it 70 degrees, sunshine a little bit, maybe a little overcast. And we like those days. And we also like days that everybody is working in unison, and there is no missed licks. Everybody is working in tandem, and everybody can read each other's minds. We don't have to even talk. We like those days that the jobs go so well, that the synergy is there, and we can all work. And we could go the whole day without speaking one word to each other, but that means that we know each other's next move, and that's what makes us efficient. That's my favorite kind of work day, is when everybody's on the same page, and especially when 3 pieces of equipment is rolling at the same time. That's what I love, because it looks like little busy ants and everything looks coordinated. That means that everybody's working on the same page, and that's definitely my favorite Triad Dirtworks work day. And every Triad Dirtworks work day is a good day for Wyatt, so I love it. All right, Michael Hill, good to see you this morning. Glad to have you in here. And a little bit about stump grinding. Which one we've got 3 stump grinders, Mike. I guess I'll talk about the last one, the Carlton. It's a great grinder. It's a Hulse. It's a big boy. That thing weighs about I want to say it weighs about 2,500 pounds. So it's a Hulse, and it'll get on with it getting on. Definitely the nicest stump grinding machine that we've ever had, or Dad's ever had, and it does a really good job. It can tackle some monster stumps. The only thing about that stump grinder, the Carlton stump grinder, it's a great machine, and I've mentioned this before. We want to get a couple more hours under our belt before we do make a very detailed video about the ins and outs about that machine as well. Like I mentioned before earlier in the live stream, we don't like to talk about stuff until we feel like we've had a really good experience with it, or bad experience. We just like to get a bunch of time with that piece of equipment before we start making a heads or tail decision, and before we start telling people yay or nay, you should have this. And at the end of the day, folks, it's all opinions, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So what you take out of it is what you get. That's just opinions. But that's kind of it. The Carlton does a really good job. It's all hydraulics. It pulls itself. You just got to stand there and let the machine work. The only thing I would say, if we had another stump grinder, I would go ahead and get up into the bigger grinders and get one with a remote control that you can physically walk around the machine, get in front of the stump grinder, and use the remote control and actually see what you're grinding. Because with that Carlton, it is really, really, really hard to see what you're grinding. A lot of it's done by feel, and Dad is probably one of the best by feel, especially in our little team. He's been doing it for over 20 years now, and he can just feel, especially with our little push behind or walk behind. They look like little lawnmower style grinders, and you got to sit there and you have to dance with them, as Dad likes to say. And I tell you what, man, Dad can dance with those machines. It's unbelievable, and it's crazy. And I'm quite a bit years younger than Dad, to say the least. And I'm not poking fun of his age, but I will tell that is something that takes a lot of experience. It has nothing to do with strength. It has nothing to do with physique. It is all about how you make that thing dance, and he does a really good job at doing it. And he just gets behind that thing and then he just swinging it back and forth and makes it look so natural. I get behind that thing and it is just up and down, left and right, left and right. There's no consistent movement with any of that stuff. It looks like I look like an Energizer bunny on that thing because I'm just getting aggravated and I can't feel what I've got. So a lot of that stuff's done by feel. So for me personally, on our next machine, I would love to see a machine that I have a remote control that I can physically walk 360 degrees around that machine, around that stump, and grind that sight picture of what I'm working at. So I hope that answers your question, Mike. Moving right along. Elizabeth Taylor, are you going to be using a drone? Yes, we do. We have a little DJI Mavic Mini drone that we bought. Actually, when we first started filming, we went on a limb and bought that drone, and it is a very nifty piece of equipment. Little fun fact about that drone, I think it weighs 249 grams, which is 1 gram off of the FFA, I do believe. Anything over 250 grams, you have to register with the FFA. So it is the biggest, nimblest little drone that you can get without having to register that drone. So it makes it very appealing to people like us that doesn't want to go through the red tape of doing that. And for us, it does a good job. It's small. It packs up real nicely. It packs up into a case about like this. And it's easy to carry around, easy to operate. You use your phone, you hook up to it through your phone, be it being an iPhone, be it an Android. You hook up to it and you actually control it, and you've got a sight picture on your phone right here. And the remote comes right here, and you can actually pilot the drone from right here, and you can fly it looking at your screen. So it's very cool. It's got a camera gimbal that goes up and down, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting a lot more drone shots incorporated into our daily work. The thing about it, before, and this kind of rolls into the next question here: how many workers do you have on your team? Currently, right now, we've got 3 people on our team. You've got Dad, you've got myself, and you got my brother. So we're just a family. We're a family, small family company. Just 3 of us, folks, and that's us pretty much on an everyday basis. And we have thought about expanding, but right now, I don't know if you guys are experiencing this in Missouri, anywhere else, but there's definitely a labor shortage, and trying to hire people is definitely tough. And I do want to mention too, we do have part-time help too that comes in. Actually, my nephew, and he is part-time. He's actually in school right now, and he helps us from time to time. And that's a really good deal. Really glad to keep it in the family and keep it. And that's kind of what we're about. And that goes into what I'm about to explain. There's a work employee shortage right now, especially in our industry. Everybody is wanting. I don't know what the deal is. It's just hard to find people that want to work nowadays. So we're very fortunate in that aspect that we are core 3 or 4 people that we've got. Me, Dad, and Weston every day, and then Jordan occasionally. So it's nice to have pretty much count on people without employee problems and stuff like that. So our team is very small. And with that said, kind of going back to the previous question, with the drone, it's kind of hard, especially when it was me and Dad. We started back. We're coming up on a year anniversary here in about a month since I've been with Dad full time, and things have been great. Never been better. I've definitely changed as a person, and love every ounce of work that I do, working with my dad and working at Triad Dirtworks and being part of such a great thing. And so it was just us 2 back in the start. So for Dad to be working and me to be working, it was hard to pilot a drone and keep that drone up in the air while work still needed to be done. So when Weston came on in February of this year, he came on full time as well. And so now it makes it a little bit easier for 2 people to be working, 1 person to be doing the drone. So that kind of answers your question, Beth, and Jolie, about how many workers that we got. All right, Andy, moving right along. When are we going to get to see the old dirt dauber on the live stream? Well, I hope that is soon. Like I said, folks, I wanted to get this live stream behind us, and super excited. I've been looking at this live stream all week and hoping that it goes good. And so far, so good. We're about 41 minutes in right now as we speak. Got 11 people watching, which is great. Never would have thought we had this many people tuning in. So hopefully the next live stream that we have, maybe in the next couple weeks, the old wise old dirt dauber, which is my precious dad. I love him so dearly. He'll be on the next one. So that means that the next live stream probably be up at the old headquarters. We can get him involved on the live stream and see where it goes. All right. Let's see here. We got the chat going. Looks like Elizabeth asking Andy how the yard is looking. Was looking amazing to all the lack of rain came along. Now I'm fighting to keep enough water on it. Yes, that is it has been dry in our area, folks, for the last couple weeks. We had no rain the last couple weeks, and the conditions has been crazy. And right now, trying to keep grass up in our area without irrigation is can be tough. And like I mentioned before, and me and Dad actually was discussing this to a client of ours on Friday, to be exact, about the grass and sowing grass. And we have a video up. It was our North Carolina Central seeding window, trying to hit that seeding window. And with that being said, in North Carolina, we are in a I don't want to call it is a gray area when it comes to grass. You go 100 miles north of where we're at, you've got cool season grass that thrives. You go 100 miles south of us in the South Carolina tips of Georgia, you've got warm season grass that thrives, and then we're right in the middle. So we're just constantly on like a pendulum, going back and forth of what works. And tall fescue works the best in our area, but it is a job to keep it looking nice. You've got to put in the work. And I do want to say this, Johan78, Andy, he does a really good job with his yard, and thankful to be a part of that one. And he puts in the time, and that's what it takes to keep a successful, great looking lawn. You either have to hire that stuff out to a professional that comes in every single week and spends more time in your yard than you do. Little joke that we like to say. Dad coined the phrase, "Hey, we're Triad Dirt Works. We spend more time in your yard than you do." That's what we love. And that's the God's honest truth. I would rather spend more time in your folks' yard than I spend in my own yard. I don't know what it is about it, but I love working for people, and I always put my stuff on the back burner. That stuff's coming around. Long story short, you got to put the time in. You either got to pay somebody real well to come in and take care of your yard, or you have to get in there and be dedicated and work at your yard all the time. And especially where we're at in our area, it is a uphill battle keeping our yards looking nice and crisp and clean. Let's see here. Do you like sod better than sowing grass seed? That answer is simple. I would rather sow a yard than put down sod any day of the week. Don't get me wrong, sod is very pretty. It comes out. I mean, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. That sod, it comes in pallets. I know you guys have probably seen it. And we don't do a lot of sod projects. But when we do, we try to get all hands on deck because it is a job. It is a process. So that sod either comes in squares, and what it is, folks, these sod farms, they're actual farms. And down in Sand Hills, North Carolina, down in Southern Pines area, they're really, really well known for growing sod of different varieties and stuff. And we're not grass experts. There's another YouTube out there. I think it's GCI Turf, and they're right up the road from us. They're in Reidsville, North Carolina. And he is the grass guru when it comes to anything related to do with grass, maintaining grass. GCI Turf. They've got a YouTube channel. Super nice guy. Love talking to Pete. Actually met him in person. Super nice guy. So if you got a lot of questions about grass, go check out his channel. He does a really good job of explaining and the ins and outs, and he's very methodical and very articulate when it comes to maintaining and keeping grass. So GCI Turf, can't say anything good or can't say anything better about Pete and those guys. That they do a really good job. But would I rather put out sod or sow grass? I would rather sow grass every day of the week than put out sod. Sod is a job. That stuff comes in pallets. It comes on truckloads, and it's heavy. It's heavy. You got to roll that stuff out. You're down on your hands and knees. You're putting it out. You're either working on the side of a hill. You're working flat. You've got to chop that stuff in. But at the end of the day, if installed correctly, and it turns out for a really good job. You could have a whole yard that is red dirt, clay. It is bare. There was no vegetation on it at all. It is graded, just got graded. And you could have this whole yard laid with sod by the end of the day. And guess what? You've got grass. You've got grass, folks, and you don't have to wait on the seeding process and the germination process of grass seed. It's pretty much instant. But with that said, you're going to pay for it too, because with sod, it is so expensive versus sowing a yard. But with sowing a yard, it's a lot cheaper, but there's a lot of more things that can go wrong. We've had a couple incidents where we just sowed a yard and then we have a thunderstorm come in and it just washes everything away, and that is not good. So we have to go back and maybe we have to redo it. So it's kind of a toss-up. If you want to spend the money and you want it to be pretty instant, then yeah, sod's the way to go. If you want to have a little bit more patience and maybe a little bit control over the process, then seeding's where it's at. But personal preference for me, and I'm sure Dad can echo this, we would rather sow grass than lay sod any day of the week. And we don't sow sod on a regular basis, or we don't lay sod, install sod on a regular basis. Probably we do a little side job probably 4 times a year, 4 times a year, and it's not a lot. Let's see here. That's what happened in my yard last year after you guys graded mine. 3 big washouts. Yep, exactly. And I do believe, and a lot of times you try to put erosion mats down. If you know that you're in the springtime or fall time and you've got a lot of rain coming, you can negate that by putting some kind of covering on it, whether it be wheat straw, which keeps the moisture in, whether it be an erosion mat, which is kind of a straw material that you roll out, and you see it a lot on the side of the highways and stuff, and you staple that down. I do believe Andy actually put peat moss on his, because anytime that you put wheat straw down, wheat straw is like wheat grass. So it's out and grown in a field, and it's straw, and it comes. So when they bale that stuff up, it is grass. So there is potential for foreign seeds to come in and take over in your yard. So we always put wheat straw down by request, and we always ask the homeowner, hey, do you want a wheat straw covering? Now, with this said, when you've got wheat straw in, like you have the potential for any kind of foreign weeds to come into your grass. So just like in Andy's situation, he's got a very, very, very well manicured yard, and that's what he was going for. And he's put a lot of pre-emergent stuff down, fertilize it, and he really does take the time to make sure his yard's correct. So he didn't want no wheat straw down, so he put peat moss in, which is a great alternative. It still holds the moisture in, but with that said, when a big rain comes, the peat moss doesn't have a lot of tack. It washes a little bit easier than wheat straw, and wheat straw will still wash. So that can happen, guys. So you don't run into that problem with sod at all. Most of the time, that stuff is so heavy, it's not going to wash. On the other side, you're going to have more of a problem keeping that stuff wetted in and wetted down, and making sure that stuff doesn't turn and die out on you, because sod is very sensitive. From the time that it gets cut in the farm, rolled up, loaded on a truck, and delivered to you, which is typically anywhere from 2 and 3.5 hours away, just depends on where they can get it. It is a instant process. Sod is something that you don't mess around with. It's very time sensitive. You have to get it out of the field, loaded up, rolled up on the truck, delivered, dropped off and installed pretty much within the same day. So it's nothing to be messing around with. It's a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of logistics on the line when it comes to laying sod. So you definitely want to get it right. Yeah, no straw going down in the yard. And, you know, if I graded my yard, I'd probably put wheat straw down. You know, I would try to negate the weeds after the fact. That's just my personal preference. But Andy said, no, ain't no straw going down in my yard. I don't blame him because he puts in the time in his yard to make it right. So wheat straw can definitely bring in some foreign contaminants in and get that weed growth to come in. And he also said the peat moss will wash out, or the peat moss will wash out along with the seed. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's just part of Mother Nature. You can't control the weather. You just got to take the proper measures and stuff like that. So, no problem, Michael. Appreciate the questions. You got any more questions, Mike? Anything, everything? I'm kind of down the line of questions right now. Anything else? Do we have any jobs lined up? I'm about out of videos. Yes, we do. We have a lot of jobs lined up. We're actually blessed, folks. We're booking about 2 months out right now. So we're very blessed with work. But with that said, we do a lot of work for different external landscape companies, and we do a lot of demo work and stuff. And we've had some scheduling issues come up in the past. And with that being said, we've had a lot of jobs getting pulled up on us, which is no problem. But a lot of times, folks, we kind of come in when we work a project. We're usually working for another landscaping company. So with that being said, they have an install date that they want to meet. So that means that we have to be in front of their install date. So where I'm going at with this, time is of the essence most of the time. There's usually not 1 minute of wasted time throughout the day. We always have to be somewhere and be ahead of somebody else. So yes, we do have a tremendous amount of jobs lined up, but sometimes we forget to film because we're such in a rush, or B, we're just no time to film, and that's no excuse. We need to take the time. We do need to take the time to take the time to film and really do it, because you guys, this live stream, you have no idea what kind of joy, guys. It is, what time is it right now? It is 8:51 a.m. on May the 30th. It is a Sunday, and we've got 11 people watching this live stream. We've got 3 thumbs up. We've got a chat full of questions. Y'all have blown away my expectations of what this first project, or what this first live stream would look like. So that says a lot. So it's no excuse, Jolie. We have to put out the content for you guys because you guys love seeing it. So let's see here. We got another question. What has been your favorite project? And that is coming from Whitney. Whitney Suggs on YouTube. And our favorite project, man. And Andy said, my yard, of course. Yeah, we did Andy's yard back in, that was back in September, right before Thanksgiving last year. And turned out really, really great in my opinion. But we just got it rough graded and all that good stuff. And he took it from there, and it's looking really nice. Favorite project, man, this is tough without trying to make somebody mad. We did Andy's yard back in September, and then we just recently did my sister's yard, which Whitney, that's my sister, in the chat here, and we did her concrete project. I want to say that it's going to be the concrete project, but I do not like doing concrete, so it's definitely not that. Probably my favorite project to date was the sump pump project that we did. The sump pump project, it was a 2-part video, and I felt like from a video editing standpoint and from a, I don't know, just from an information standpoint, that was my favorite project. And so yeah, I'm definitely not going to pick favorites over family here, over which 2 projects we did for them. So I want to say it's definitely the sump pump out in the middle of the yard. That's my favorite video. Got another comment. Marlon, he says, I like them all. He likes them all, and he does, folks. He does. That man, That man, he just likes to work. He likes to work, and he likes to showcase all the videos. He loves all the videos. He's just a joyous person to be around all the time, and I am blessed to call that man my dad, my coworker, my quote unquote boss. Even though everybody picks with me and says I'm the boss, he's just a great person to be around. And really looking for him to getting on the next live stream with us. Let's see a little poll in the chat right here. Let's see who thinks that Marlon should be in the next live stream. Let's type in the chat and see who thinks that the old wise old dirt dauber should be in the next live stream. And he's like, I don't know if I want to be in it. I don't know. Let's see what the chat thinks. Let's see what the chat thinks, folks. Let's see if we can get a nice vote on whether my old man should be on the next live stream. I think he should. That's my personal opinion. He'd probably do a lot better job than I can. We got one upvote. No question about it, Andy said. It's looking good, Pops. It's looking good. Looks like you're going to be debuted on the next one. Words of wisdom. We need Dada Dean. Yeah, it looks like we have a consensus here. Everybody thinking, everybody. We got Frida in here. Vote for Marlon. I'll tell you what. I didn't tell him I was going to do this, but let's get a couple questions for Dad right now. Let's get a couple questions for Dad. I'm going to call him on the phone, see if we can do this. See if we can hear his sweet voice this morning. See if we can make it work. So y'all pump out a couple questions in the chat. I'll be right back. I'm going to get him on the phone, and we'll go from there. Keep the chat coming. I'm going to step away right quick. All right, folks, I'm back. I've got the old dirt dauber on the line right now. We weren't going to do a call in, but we're going to do a call in right now. So, Dad, speak on the line. Make sure everybody can hear you. You there, Dad? Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. How's that sound, guys? Hopefully next time we're going to be live with Dad. But can you hear him?
How's that sound, guys? Hopefully next time we're going to be live with Dad. But can you hear him?
All right, working out a couple sound deals here. All right, so Andy wants to know, what is the future like for Triad Dirtworks? That is your first question.
The future what now?
The future of Triad Dirtworks. What's the future looking like for Triad Dirtworks?
Oh, it's looking bright. Looking real bright. We got blessed with work.
A lot of good jobs coming down the line. Working with my two sons, my oldest grandson. It just don't get no better than that.
Amen. Amen to that. That is exactly right. It is a pleasure going to work with the people that you love every single day. I remember this is actually last week actually. We've had a lot of good synergy the last couple weeks, and Dad just smiling from ear to ear and saying, I was like, Dad, what's up with you, man? You just always giddy. You just always looking giddy, and just always got a smile on your face. And he's like, Wyatt, you have no idea from a father's perspective what it means to work along with your two sons and the grandson. You have no idea what that means to work aside. It's like a father's dream. And kind of some exciting news. And I wasn't going to debut or anything, but me and my wife, folks, we're actually expecting our first little one. So soon I will know what it means to be a father and go through that walk of life and have a little one on the way. So we're really excited about that. So you guys are the first to know. You've heard it here. Baby Suggs is due in November of 2021, and we could not be more excited. We're actually awaiting the results on what the gender is going to be. So we're super excited about that. So in a nutshell, for Dad, he says it's so good working along the side of your two sons and grandson. There's nothing any better. We've got another question here for you, Dad. Out of all the years of work, what has been the most memorable job?
There's been a couple. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of on a lot of different high profile jobs. There's two or three comes to mind. I got the opportunity to work on Chris Daughtry's job when he hit it big. The singer back then, I think he was on American Idol. Got to meet him and his wife. Super nice folks. You would not believe that was a job. And then we did a job for a race car driver up here. That was a good job to work on. Be honest with you, I'm not going to mention no names, but the race car driver and his wife was not the nicest folks we've ever dealt with. But we did get an opportunity to set some big trees. I think the root balls was 105 inches across. They come in one tractor and trailer. I got the opportunity. I think we planted 6 big trees. There's another place in High Point, Show Place was a big project. We set some great big trees down there. I remember standing in the hole. I think there was 6 people standing in the hole. That's how big the root balls was, and it was over our heads. So, we got an opportunity to work on those projects like that. Those memorable projects. And there's several more, but that's just 3 of the high-profile type jobs.
Right. Absolutely. We've got Dirt Boss. Good times working with family, 100%. Yes, sir. It is. Family is something else, and I love working with our family. It is great. When you're working with family, it just says something. You don't have to worry. We're just you've grown up together, and you already know. So you already know the ins and outs about each other. There's no question about how you feel. It can go either way. But in our situation, working with family is great, and I would not want to work with anybody else other than my dad, my brother, and the rest of our family, and my nephew when he's along. Nothing matters more to me than working with family and being safe while we're doing it. So definitely a good comment, Dirt Boss. Glad to see you in the chat. We watch a lot of your stuff.
His videos.
Yes, sir.
We watch his videos all the time, Wyatt.
Yep. All the time. Dirt Boss, you're definitely one of our big influencers, and super excited and stoked to have you in the chat. It's kind of surreal. Super excited. So glad to have you in. Hope you are doing really good this morning. Super stoked to have you in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. If you got any questions for us, Dirt Boss, we'd be love to take a swing at them. No problem, man. No problem. We love your content. Love your videos, man. It is extraordinary. Great. Super community that you've got built on YouTube. Hands down. We got any more questions for Dad? Folks, I can't stress enough how I'm just so taken back by this first live stream. I'm so taken back. This thing's going really well. I couldn't imagine anybody that wants to hang out with me and now Dad for over an hour long and discussing and going over some different topics and stuff. Incredible. It's just incredible. I've got one other question that I actually missed from Jolie. She asked, what kind of video editing software do I use? And I keep it simple. I do have Final Cut Pro for Apple. I do have a MacBook Pro, and I do got Final Cut Pro, but I am not a pro at it by no means. So I use iMovie. I use iMovie to edit all of our videos. It's a free application when you buy an Apple product, especially a MacBook or a desktop version. It comes with Apple. And that's what we use. Works out great. I still haven't mastered that to the fullest, so I haven't even went into Final Cut Pro about all the ins and outs about that. But I do want to say, if you want to get into any kind of video editing, video processing, uploading stuff, MacBook, any kind of Apple product is the way to go. To me, it kind of takes the cake with video editing software and just the simple ease of pumping those videos out and getting them out in a really good, crisp, professional manner. So that's what we use. Very pleased with my MacBook, and I've never been an Apple guy. But from a video standpoint, from a multimedia standpoint, Apple's the best, in my opinion. So that's the kind of equipment that we use. So, hey, I missed that question at the beginning, Jolie, but I hope that answered your question. We're probably going to go for another 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to be wrapping this live stream up. And I'm going to keep that on. I want a lot of the questions to be asked through him. We got another one from Whitney. When did you know this was what you wanted to do as a career? So, Dad, that's a question for you. So, when did you first realize that this is what you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
Oh man, it was. Can everybody hear me, or I'm talking to you? What?
I think. Let me see here. Let me do a sound check inside. We doing good, Mackenzie, as far as sound. Everything okay? Good. Thumbs up. Yeah, everybody can hear you, Dad.
Hey, on that question right there, I've been doing this stuff ever since before I had my license. I started cutting grass back when I was probably 13, 14 years old, riding my bike to older ladies' yards there and doing that. Just come up through. I remember buying my first lawnmower, trailer and all, actually when I was about 15 years old. Mom, she would carry me around on Saturdays. She'd drive me around on Saturdays. So to answer your question, I've known this from way back. I just love being outside. And Dad, he was always around bulldozers and backhoes and stuff like that. And it's just kind of went towards that. I started off in the lawn care, but it's kind of come into this. But that's to answer your question. It's pretty been all my life. I enjoy doing it.
Right, and with that being said, I've the same thing kind of happened to me. We've hit on this in a couple of videos. I've been exposed to doing this type of work too at a very young age. Pretty much, folks, as I got as big when I can, I started working with Dad as soon as I could hold a shovel. As soon as I could go out and kind of grasp the dangers of work and stuff, and he didn't really have to, look after me. I can just go on and tag along. That's how long I've been involved in working with Dad. So I can kind of echo that. And kind of a little background with me. I've been in the telecommunications world up till about a year ago. I worked there for almost 6 years. So I kind of went out and experienced the corporate world, and nothing that I didn't want to work with Dad right out of high school. It's just I got an opportunity to go work with a really good company. And I did that. But with doing that, it kind of made me realize that I didn't know what I had with Dad. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "is that offer still standing?" He said, "Absolutely, come to work." And that's what we did. and very fortunate. This last year has been something. It has been something else. I've grown as a person, as work life, personal life, all that good stuff. So it's been super for me. I'm so glad to be working alongside Dad and my brother and my rest of my family. So it's great. It is super. Let's see here. How many? Best got another question. How many videos do you want to put up weekly, or how many videos do y'all put up weekly? This is something that I want to touch on, and I was going to touch on, being that we've kind of got an audience now and a consistent audience. We definitely want to get on some type of a upload schedule and be more consistent with our video output and stuff. And right now, I want to put up, it's pretty sporadic right now. Some weeks we put up 4 videos. Some weeks we put up 2. This week's been kind of a busy week, so I haven't been able to put up as many as I would like. But I would like to start by starting this week. I want to put up 3 videos a week, kind of space them out, whether it be Monday and Wednesday, Friday, maybe a special video on the weekends for you guys. What do you guys, what do you guys want to see? You know, do you guys, is one video every day? I think one video every single day, 7 videos a week. I think that's probably a little too much. It might get a little redundant on some of the stuff. What's a good number for you guys? What's a good number? What do you think that you would like to see? And Jolie said that answered my question about Marlon growing up around heavy equipment. Yep, absolutely. He has been in and around heavy equipment. My sweet grandfather, he drove a truck for he drove a truck all of his life, and up till now, recently, he just retired. And my beautiful grandfather, he's 81 years old, and he just retired, folks. So that kind of says what we're about. We always work. We're working people. We've always worked. We'll continue to work. And little sweet saying that my dad and his dad has always said. They said, I want to work a half a day before I check out of this place. And what that says is they want to work till dinner time when the good Lord calls them home. So and I can attest to that. I want to do the same thing. I don't ever plan on retiring or slowing up. I want to always be doing something, because the day you stop moving is the day you start dying, folks. And very important to stay moving. So with that said, man, he's been around it all of his life. And my grandpa, he drove a truck for over 50 years, probably 55 plus. But when he was home on the weekends and throughout the weekend stuff, he was always around bulldozers, track coes, front end loaders, skid steers, even when they were back in the day, tractors. So they always did some kind of dirt work, moving stuff, setting septic tanks, installing gravel driveways, all that good stuff, sowing yards. So he's been around it all of his life. And I'm glad to say that I've been around it all my life too. It's definitely made me the person that I am today. Jolie said once a week. You would be okay with once a week? You don't want to see more than that? Anybody else have any video suggestions? How many that we should put out a week? My vote is 3. I think 3 is a good number. I also think you can go more than that, and that kind of puts a strain on things on the stuff. We've got another question coming in from O'Nally 12. What is your favorite brand of equipment, Dad? Can you hear me, Dad? Yeah.
Oh man, favorite brand of equipment. Be honest with you, I don't have a preference. I like there's different machines I like. I like the Kubota excavators. The hydraulics is still old school hydraulics. I think it's electric over hydraulics instead of what they call pilot controls. The Caterpillar skid steers, I like the Caterpillar skid steers, which the one that we have now is not in operation, but the small machines, the Takahachis, I like the Takahachis. All the Takahachi stuff is good or tough, but they're quick. All the control zones is quick. The ditch witch, the more I ride it, the more I like it. I can't put my finger on just one. I like all equipment, but the equipment that we have, probably my favorite piece of equipment, everything we've got is probably the little T-Rex. That's our go-to machine as far as a workhorse is the little T-Rex. And it's people say, you got that little small machine that, but if you can operate a machine and manipulate it to do what you want it to do, sometimes you don't have to have that big machine. But we do small stuff. I don't know if that answers the question, but
I think so. I think so. And you've mentioned this to me. You've mentioned this to me. A little backfeed there. You've mentioned to me before as well. That and particularly talking about that T-Rex. You said it's been under power since the first day that we bought it, or since you bought it.
Yes.
Is that correct?
It's an underpowered machine right off the trailer, brand new, but it does what we need it to do.
Right.
I'm kind of looking forward to look at that. Either that 40 or that 25 has got the little turbo on it. It's got a little more power, but that's might be down the road.
Right. Got another question from Mackenzie. Marlon, what is your best advice for running a successful business? So it could be not necessarily our business, but any kind of advice that you would give somebody for any kind of business, just like a general advice.
Your customers. Treat your customers hands down. Treat your customers the best you could treat them. Be patient with them. Be patient with your business. Be patient with your decision making. Be frugal with your money. How you spend your money. Don't jump on anything. But it's probably the customer service is probably the most important. I'm not saying that the customer's always right, but make sure that they know what you're doing. You make sure they know what you're paying for. Have an understanding before you go into a project, so you don't have a misunderstanding on the back end.
Right. Right. I agree with that 100%. And our kind of motto or slogan or business statement or whatever you want to call, Triad Dirtworks, we always keep the customer in the forefront. Always. We provide a good quality service at a fair price, and we always keep the customer in the forefront. And that's not just words that we like to say. That is literally words that we live by when it comes to doing work for our clients and our customers. We will bend over backwards for our customers, because at the end of the day, folks, our customers, we can't make a living if our customers are dissatisfied with Triad Dirtworks or the way that we run our business and the way we perform. So without our customers, we would not be here. So we owe all of our gratitude and thanks to our customers that call us and lean on us to provide a service for them. And we're so thankful. So we're definitely customer oriented, and whatever it takes to make the customer happy, that's what we provide, and that's what we'll continue to do. That sound about right, Dad?
That's it. We're still working for folks that I worked for years back, way back.
Right. Honestly, yeah. And another thing too, I'd like to touch on. We don't advertise. We don't advertise, even though YouTube is a good way to advertise. But that's not the reason why we started the channel, was for advertisement. And we don't advertise at a local level either. We've never advertised. We do have a Facebook page. If you'd like to go over to the Facebook page and drop a like on that, that's Triad Dirtworks. I post all the videos there as well, and love to get a community on there. But we just simply don't advertise. A lot of our advertisement is by word of mouth, and we'll get a lot of phone calls now, and I'll overhear some phone calls that Dad's on, and a customer will call Dad and say, "Hey, Marlon, how you doing? You probably don't remember me, but you did a project at my house about 6 years ago, and we got another thing that we want you to come look at." And folks, that just says something. When a client of yours can just remember you over that period of time, and they just know, and they know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and they know you're going to show up when you say you're going to show up. That's what gets me up every single day. The clientele and the reputation that my father has built with his company and this company is bar none. Bar none. I told him this Friday. I said, Dad, I just love being in your presence, man. I love walking around your presence, and being in such a good populated town that we are, and to have his name get thrown around, it is truly a blessing, and I'm thankful to work alongside with him. So, but it all goes back to our customers.
I believe you got me overrated there, buddy.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And all the people in this chat, I don't think you're overrated, Dad. That's just you're just a real humbling person, and I love working with you. So that's great. Going Gecko, nice to see you in the chat, man. Nice to see you in the chat. Another good fan on the YouTube channel. Always dropping the first comment on every video, it seems. Got a competition between Jolie Torn and Going Gecko CRO. Nice to see you pop in this morning. How you doing this morning? But guys, this has been a great live stream. Hate to wrap things up, but I wanted it to go about hour and 20, hour and 25 minutes is kind of what I had planned. Nice to see you guys in here. And if you guys missed this live stream, then you should be able to see it on the channel. It'll be a video in itself. And I do believe that's how that works. So I'm going to work on getting it out. That way you guys can go back and see it at a later date. Or if some of our subscribers missed it, so it'll be on the channel. But Dad, you got anything you want to add before we jump off here?
I do.
Okay.
You're breaking up a little bit, but I sure do. I want to thank everybody on here, everybody that watches that channel or comments or looks at a video or anything. I want to thank everybody for coming in this morning or hitting them buttons or just checking us out. Thank you very much. I just can't say enough to thank you guys.
That's right. That's right. Well, folks, it's going to wrap it up. This is Triad Dirtworks' first live stream. It went without a flaw, and I'm a little nervous, a little chilly out here, so excuse that. And I should have dressed a little bit more for the weather. I didn't intend it was going to be this little chilly. But I appreciate you guys coming in. This means a lot to us to see this many people come in and answer questions for you guys. You know, basic Q&A. Definitely looking forward to some more live streams. This live stream definitely showed me something that we can definitely do these things in the future and provide a different video platform for you guys to watch. And we appreciate all of our subscribers. We appreciate all of our supporters. And I can't say enough about you guys. We couldn't be doing this right now if it wasn't for every single one of you that has took the time to support us over the last 10 months. And I can't stress that enough. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So in closing here, guys, if you like this kind of live stream, which it seems like you do, we'll definitely be doing some more in the future. And we're going to end this one here. And if you liked it, please share with your friends. Tell your friends about Triad Dirtworks. We're just good old country boys that work hard every day. And we just got a camera following us around at this point. And we got a lot of experience and knowledge with my dad. A lot of smarts and wisdom with my twin brother, and a lot of just brute rough force with me. So that's kind of how we all three have our different strengths in a lot of different areas. So we all work together as a well-oiled machine, and just love giving you guys the content that you need and that you want and what you want to see. And hopefully a little bit of it's entertaining and some of it's informative. So that's what we're all about. So guys, I'm going to end this stream here. This has been a great one. I appreciate you, Dad, for stepping on and kind of helping me out with some of the questions on the back end, and I'll be talking to you here in a little bit. But anyways, guys,
One thing, everybody enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy
absolutely
the day off tomorrow and happy Memorial Day. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. White, I'm gonna sign on off.
All right, sounds good, Dad. Well, I love you, man, and I'll catch you here in a little bit, and you enjoy the rest of your day too. I appreciate you stopping in. All right, man. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, man. All right, bye. All right, guys. Super great. Super successful first live stream. I appreciate it. So, like always, guys, this is White with Triad Dirtworks, and we sure do appreciate you. Hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday, a fantastic holiday tomorrow, and let's remember what tomorrow's holiday is all about, and remember our veterans who served hard to fight for freedom. So I will say that all of our support behind the military for sure. So guys, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. This is Wyatt with Triad Dirt Works. And like always, everybody, we sure do appreciate you. Thanks.